It's 2:22 a.m. on the 31st of October 2025. Deep in the South China Sea, 60 nautical miles off Hainan, the U.S. Navy attack submarine USS Montana is not supposed to be seen, not supposed to be heard, and absolutely not supposed to be surrounded. Then it happens. Sharp, clean sonar pulses cut through the water, multiple layers, multiple sources. The room goes from calm to combat in one breath. We're painted, a sonar tech says, meaning the Chinese have them. Alarms slam through the control room. Red lights wash over faces. Commander Harrison orders, rig for ultra quiet. Battle stations. Outside that steel hull, China's biggest surface hunters, two Type 055 destroyers and their escorts are already moving in. The destroyers carry long-range missiles and heavyweight torpedoes built to kill submarines. Montana was sent here for a secret mission under Operation Black Tide. Now it's fighting to live long enough to report back. The next 5 minutes decide if America loses a $3 billion submarine and its crew, or erases two Chinese flagships from the map. The South China Sea at night looks calm, flat, endless, almost peaceful. But below, it's a battlefield of steel and sonar. Cargo ships move through these lanes every day, carrying oil, food, and the high-end chips that keep American jets flying and factories open. If that flow stops, shelves go empty, prices surge, and allies start asking if the U.S. can still protect what it says it can protect. That's why USS Montana is here to guard the route without starting a war. China's Navy has grown faster than anyone expected. Dozens of new warships, drones, and seabed sensors now form a hunting web around Hainan. Its message is simple: this water is ours. Washington can't allow that. If one zone closes, others will follow, and the map shifts without a single shot. Operation Black Tide was meant to test that line. Montana's mission: slip under the net, record sonar patterns, mark weak points, and vanish. China's deep water grid caught a trace, a metallic echo that didn't belong. Within minutes, two Type 055 destroyers and their escorts launched from Yulin Naval Base, racing toward Montana's last ping. Inside the sub, silence rules. Every move is controlled. Even a loose tool hitting the deck could give them away. Harrison knows the stakes. If Montana is forced to surface this close to Hainan, Beijing will call it proof of U.S. intrusion and use it to pressure smaller countries to back off. Insurance on every tanker in the region will spike by morning. Vietnam, the Philippines, and Japan will all watch what the U.S. does next and decide how far they can lean on it. Now, two nuclear powers wait in the dark, listening for each other's next move. One mistake, one torpedo, and peace dies before sunrise. If you were in command, would you strike first or stay hidden? Press 1 for fire or 9 to hold the line. 2:31 a.m., 9 minutes since contact. Inside USS Montana, every screen glows red. The crew barely speaks. The sound of filtered air blends with the low hum of machinery. Then, 3 faint echoes appear on sonar steady, closing fast. Commander Harrison leans over the operator. Range? 6,000 yards, maybe less. The contacts are spreading, circling. A classic Chinese pincer. Harrison knows the tactic. Type 055 destroyers use low-frequency sonar and rocket-assisted torpedoes built to pin submarines against the thermocline, the thin layer where warm and cold water meet. He orders a vertical dive, taking Montana below that layer. Helm, down 20 degrees. Make depth 600 feet. The deck tilts, lights flicker, the hull groans. A sharp sonar ping slams through the steel hull. They're locked. Torpedo in the water! The sonar tech yells. Harrison reacts instantly. Launch decoys. Ready counterfire. 2 AN divided by SLQ 25 Nixie units deploy, streaming behind the sub and simulating its noise signature. Moments later, another alarm sounds. Second torpedo inbound. Fire 2 Mike 48, bearing 085. Tubes flood, hiss and release. The heavyweight torpedoes streak into the deep, guided by onboard computers scanning for the destroyer's propeller noise. Evade right, 10 degrees rudder. Quiet mode now. Montana twists sharply, diving deeper. On sonar, one enemy torpedo splits away toward a decoy, another still chasing the real target. Then, impact. A deep, distant thud vibrates through the water, followed by bursts of static across the sonar feed. "Splash confirmed," says the operator quietly. Type 055 is down. No one cheers. They know the second destroyer is still out there. Another ping, louder this time. The remaining ship fires back a spread of torpedoes fanning wide. Harrison calls, "Counterfire." Same depth, same bearing. 2 more Mach 48 launch. The sub rocks slightly as compressed air pushes them out. 30 seconds later, another echo. Another explosion far away. Silence returns. 2 of China's most advanced warships are gone. No celebration, no relief. Just the heavy awareness that the ocean now knows exactly where Montana is. Harrison studies the chart and escape route north, through deep water. "We're not out yet," he says quietly. "They'll throw everything they have." 2:41 a.m. The sea is no longer silent. The sonar screen on Montana fills with echoes fast, irregular, chaotic. Multiple sources. Commander Harrison knows what that means. Drones. China's underwater fleet has joined the hunt. Small, fast, and disposable. They move like a swarm of hornets, relaying sonar data back to the remaining ships and shore stations. Contact bearing 270 multiple. Depth? Variable, some above, some below. It's a perfect trap. Harrison realizes the enemy isn't just chasing them, they're herding them into shallower water, where maneuvering is limited. "Not today," he mutters. "Helm, reverse course. We'll cut under them." In the torpedo room, sailors reload Mach 48 inches near silence. Sweat drips from their helmets as hydraulic arms slide heavy weapons into place. Above, drones ping continuously, trying to draw Montana out. Harrison studies the sonar feed. He counts 5, maybe 6 drones, all closing in. He calls the sonar tech. Estimate distance, 2,000 yards and closing. That's too close. Fire 2 counter-torpedoes. Target the densest signal cluster. The crew obeys. The torpedoes launch, cutting through the darkness, each leaving behind a white trail of bubbles that instantly vanishes. Seconds later, 2 hits. The sonar feed explodes with static. "Drones destroyed," says the operator. A sudden thud rocks the sub. Not a hit pressure. The Chinese have dropped depth charges. The water shudders as blasts echo above. Harrison grips the edge of the console. "Hold course," he orders calmly. "They're trying to scare us into rising." Another blast follows, closer this time. He can almost feel the strategy from the other side. Relentless pressure. Force the American sub to surface. Then film it proof that US forces were operating inside Chinese waters. Harrison knows what's at stake. One wrong move here doesn't just mean death. It means headlines, outrage, escalation. A deep crack rolls through the hull, just stress, not damage, but enough to make hearts skip. "Steady," Harrison says softly. "They can't hit what they can't hear." He lowers the reactor output, cutting speed to a crawl. The sub sinks quietly toward a trench, where thermal layers can mask them again. If you think Harrison should keep running, press 9. If you think it's time he fights back, press 1. 2:56 a.m. The ocean quiets again. For the first time in 30 minutes, there are no pings, no explosions, just the hum of the reactor and the slow breathing of 40 men. Harrison finally exhales. "Maintain depth," he says. Then, a new sound. Faint, mechanical, rhythmic. Not a torpedo, not a ship. Something smaller, smarter. The sonar tech frowns. "Sir, unknown contact, bearing 150, moving slow." Harrison leans closer. The signal doesn't match anything in the onboard database. The shape is wrong, the pattern too precise. "That's not human control," he mutters. Minutes later, the computer confirms it. HSU-001, China's autonomous underwater drone. It doesn't need radio, doesn't sleep, doesn't fear. Programmed to hunt silently and transmit target data to the nearest warship. "Helm, all stop. Reactor to silent running." Harrison orders. The sub goes dark, no lights, no sound. But the drone keeps coming, steady and deliberate. It's scanning with low-powered sonar pulses weak enough to hide from detection, but Montana's sensors can still pick them up. Load 1 Mike 48, low power, manual control, he says quietly. No guidance ping, we'll ghost it. The torpedo slides into the tube, silent as breath. The crew holds still. The drone drifts closer 900 yards, 700, 5. Then Harrison whispers, "Fire." The torpedo glides out, almost invisible. 20 seconds later, a muted thump ripples through the water, followed by static across the sonar feed. No one moves. No one cheers. The silence feels heavier than before. The sonar tech suddenly looks up, eyes wide. "Sir, multiple new signals." The drone transmitted before it died. Harrison's jaw tightens. The Chinese fleet now knows exactly where they are. The hunt begins again. 3:07 a.m. The water around Montana begins to tremble. The sonar fills with new pings, dozens this time, coming from every direction. Harrison stares at the screen. The Chinese fleet has arrived. Destroyers, frigates, and drones now form a kill ring 20 miles wide. "Helm, set course north by northwest. Depth 800 feet, he orders. The sub tilts forward, descending into darker, colder water. Outside, the pressure mounts, groaning through the hull like thunder. The crew tightens their straps, faces pale but steady. "Multiple torpedoes inbound," the sonar tech shouts. Harrison's voice stays calm. "Launch countermeasures Nixie 1 and 2, full spread. 2 decoy pods release, spinning wire trails that mimic the sub's engine tone. Prepare Tomahawk tubes 1 through 4, Harrison commands. Target the destroyers on bearing 070. The weapons officer hesitates. "Sir, those are surface ships. Are we cleared to fire?" Harrison doesn't blink. "We are now." 4 Tomahawk missiles burst upward, breaking through the surface and vanishing into the sky. Seconds later, the ocean flashes. 2 destroyers vanish from the tactical map, hit by weapons meant for land targets, now turned sea killers. The shockwave slams Montana's hull. "Damage report? Minor flooding aft, sir, holding steady. But more threats remain. New contacts, fast movers, shallow depth," the sonar tech warns. Harrison narrows his eyes. Z-18 Farad's helicopters. They're dropping torpedoes. Full speed. Hard right rudder. Deploy blanket. A wall of noise floods the water as the sub releases an acoustic decoy field. Millions of microbubbles masking its sound. The enemy torpedoes dart blindly through the cloud, missing by seconds. "Fire Mike 48, last shot!" The tube roars. The torpedo races ahead and collides head on with the incoming threat. A massive concussion rips through the deep. For a heartbeat, everything goes dark. Then, the lights return. Sonar shows empty water. No pursuers. Just the slow, rolling echo of distant explosions fading into silence. Montana has survived barely. If you were aboard Montana right now, would you breathe in relief or prepare for round 2? Press 1 for relief, 9 for ready. 4:12 a.m. The South China Sea is calm again, but only on the surface. Far below, the USS Montana drifts in silence, running on emergency power. The air smells of metal and oil. Harrison stands by the periscope, watching nothing but black water. They've escaped the kill zone, but barely. Damage reports scroll across the screens. Minor flooding, cracked tiles, 1 injured crewman. Still, for a submarine that just fought half a fleet, that counts as a miracle. The XO approaches quietly. "Sir, we're clear of pursuit. Orders?" Harrison doesn't answer right away. He looks at the digital map, dozens of red icons marking Chinese ships still searching to the south. "We go dark," he finally says. "No transmissions, no trace. We disappear." Outside, the first rays of dawn pierce the horizon above Hainan. Satellites will later show 2 destroyers missing and a swirl of debris in the sea. Beijing will call it a training accident. Washington will say nothing. Officially, nothing happened at all. But inside the Pentagon, analysts will pore over the sonar logs and video data. 2 Type 055 destroyers lost in minutes. A Chinese UUV neutralized. 1 American sub, undamaged, unconfirmed. The message is clear. In the next conflict, the first shots won't be heard, they'll be felt in the dark. Harrison walks through the narrow passageway. The crew is silent but alert. No celebration, No relief, just the quiet understanding that they've crossed a line no one was supposed to cross. He stops by the control room window, staring into the deep. "If they're hunting us this hard in peacetime," he murmurs, "what happens when the war actually starts?" The hum of the reactor grows steadier. The sub turns north, slipping beneath layers of cold water, leaving no wake behind. Somewhere far above, the South China Sea glitters like nothing ever happened. If you believe this was a victory worth the risk, press 1. If you think this was only the beginning, press 9. It's 4:20 a.m. on the 18th of June 2025. In the South China Sea, 140 nautical miles southwest of Mischief Reef, the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier group suddenly picks up dozens of fast-rising radar tracks. Alarms punch through the ship. Red lights flood the passageways. Sailors grab helmets, slam hatches, and sprint to battle stations. On the flight deck, crews crouch behind tie-downs as the night sky flashes. Far off, thin orange needles fall toward the sea. Chinese DF-21D ballistic missiles and CJ-10 cruise missiles already inbound. The air smells of jet fuel and salt. Radios crackle. Weapons free. Aegis screens bloom with threat icons. Missiles are ranked by speed and angle, so the closest killers die first. On the bridge, the captain says one word: engage. Rails shudder as interceptors leap from the escorts. If the layers hold long, then medium, then close, the carrier lives. If one warhead punches through, steel tears, fire spreads, and the Navy's most advanced ship could vanish before sunrise. In the South China Sea, shipping lanes cut through one of the busiest highways on Earth. Every day, tankers and freighters move oil, grain, and semiconductors that keep stores stocked and factories running back home. The USS Gerald R. Ford carrier group patrols here to guard those lifelines and steady partners who live within missile range of disputed reefs. The job looks simple, but it's brutal. Keep sea lanes open while a rival probes every seam. Tonight, that rival is China's PLA, firing DF-21D anti-ship missiles and CJ-10 cruise missiles from H-6 Kelvin's bombers. This patch of ocean, 140 nautical miles southwest of Mischief Reef, is where one wrong call could shake global prices in days. For the crew, the stakes are human first. If defenses fail, steel shatters and fire spreads in seconds. If a supercarrier goes down, it's not just a ship, it's a signal to every capital from Tokyo to Manila about who sets the rules. Insurance premiums rise, captains reroute vessels, freight costs climb, and the price of a phone, a car part, or a bag of rice ticks up for families far from this sea. Allies watch to see if Washington can still protect the commons. Rivals watch for hesitation. This night is also a test of economics. America built layered shields, Aegis destroyers, fighters on the roof, subs in the deep, each meant to swat fast threats. But defenders spend billions to beat cheaper missiles, and that math favors the attacker. The question is endurance. Can the carrier group hold the shield long enough to break the assault, or does sheer volume land a kill? Drop a quick 1 or 9 in the comments. US carriers hold the line, or Beijing's missiles punch through, and if you want part 3, that single digit keeps you with us. 4:32 a.m. The first alerts fade into the rhythm of action. The Ford's escorts USS John Finn and USS Halsey light off their vertical launch cells. Dozens of SM-3 interceptors roar upward, streaking into the black sky to meet the incoming wave. Each shot is calculated to kill the most dangerous track, buying precious seconds for the carrier behind them. The radar picture looks like a storm, icons multiplying, splitting, then vanishing in bursts of static as hits register. The first few intercepts work. Bright flashes mark ballistic missiles detonating in the upper atmosphere. Yet the screen fills again, new salvos arcing over the horizon, cruise missiles hugging low over the waves. CJ-10 skim barely above the water, forcing defenders to track them against sea clutter. The destroyers switch to SM-6, optimized for low-flying threats. Flares bloom, then fade, as warheads vanish. But more survive. On the Ford's flight deck, F-35C pilots race to their cockpits. Cats launch in quick rhythm, afterburners glowing. Fighters climb to meet bombers still circling hundreds of miles out. Their job, thin the herd before more missiles leave Chinese wings. Within minutes, the first intercepts hit home stealth jets slash into H-6 Kelvin's formations, firing AMRAAMs that drop bombers before they can release a second load. Meanwhile, deep underwater, the fast attack subs USS Illinois and USS Missouri slide into firing position. Their tubes launch Tomahawk counterstrikes toward radar stations on Hainan and missile sites along the coast. Each launch is a message. Attacks won't go unanswered. Explosions ripple across the Chinese mainland as command centers and storage bunkers ignite. Back near the carrier, chaos narrows. A few DF-21D survive long enough to dive steeply toward the fleet. SM-6 rise to meet them. One explodes high, but another dives through the net. The warhead detonates close aboard. A thunderclap shaking the fort. Shrapnel rakes the hull, injuring sailors topside, but the armor holds. No ship is lost. The defense bends but does not break. By 5:10 a.m., more than 50 missiles have been fired and 50 have been stopped. The surface of the sea glows with wreckage, debris floating in burning slicks. Smoke trails crisscross the dawn sky. Sailors breathe, but only for a heartbeat. Everyone knows this was just the first round. 5:40 a.m. The second wave comes in lower, faster, and meaner. Several Chinese drones and cruise missiles slip past the first curtain of defenses. The destroyers fire again, launchers glowing as SM-2 leaps skyward. But the radar picture stays crowded. The crew feels the tempo quicken. The enemy isn't just testing, they're pressing. Ford adjusts course by a few degrees, shrinking its silhouette against the swarm. The move tightens angles for defense, less broadside, more narrow target. Guns across the escorts come alive. Phalanx systems spitting tracers into the sky. Some missiles break apart in orange blossoms. Others keep driving straight. High overhead, a Hawkeye spins, pushing new bearings to every console. Decoys bloom chaff, flares, and Nulka rockets dragging seekers wide while CRAM crews guard the last 100 yards. On the bridge, tension is measured in heartbeats. Sailors call out impact times, counting down in seconds. The captain's voice cuts through. Stay on it. The sea fills with explosions, water plumes shooting high as near misses slam in. The ship rides shockwaves, steel groaning with each hit nearby. Damage control teams stand ready with hoses and patch kits. Inside CIC, operators fight the clock. Jammers pour noise into seeker bands. SPY-1 arrays ship modes to hold low flyers against clutter. Track managers hand off targets in sequence, avoiding gaps. Link 1-6 chatters, welding escorts, fighters, and the Hawkeye into one picture. Every clean handoff saves a missile for the next threat. Above, FA-18E race to cut off leakers. Pilots dive, dropping bombs on drones, skimming the waves. Each success buys the carrier another breath. Each miss brings the enemy closer. The crew knows. If even one warhead hits, the mission unravels. Magazines aren't bottomless. Every intercept burns money and minutes. Yet the defense holds. Layer after layer, the shield bends but does not break. Still, the sailors see it. China will spend missile after missile, drone after drone to land one strike. And that raises the question for everyone watching. Which side runs out first, America's defenses or Beijing's arsenal? If you think the US keeps holding, hit 1-inch the comments. If you believe sheer volume will break through, hit 9 and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss part 5 when the twist arrives. 6:15 a.m. Just as the Ford sailors think the storm is easing, the picture changes. Radar picks up dozens of new contacts, smaller, faster, and hugging the surface. These aren't the big ballistic arcs or lumbering cruise missiles. They're sea-skimming drones packed with explosives, launched in swarms from disguised fishing vessels and low-flying bombers. Harder to see, harder to kill. The crew realizes the shift instantly. Ballistic interceptors won't help here. These threats are coming in under the radar horizon, popping up with only seconds to spare. The captain orders close-range defenses to full alert. Phalanx CIWS turrets spin. CRAM crews grip triggers, and every lookout is told. Eyes on the water. The first swarm arrives fast. Tiny silhouettes skim the waves, weaving unpredictably. Gunners open up, tracers slashing the dawn. Some drones burst apart, spraying metal shards into the sea. Others press forward, forcing last-ditch intercepts. The ship jerks hard to port, maneuvering to spoil incoming tracks. Every second counts. Above, F-35C drop low, using cannons and smart bombs to thin the pack. One pilot radios. Too many, too low. The fight shifts from long-range intercepts to a knife fight on the water's edge. Damage control teams brace, knowing even a single drone detonation on the hull could cripple systems. The twist is clear. China isn't just throwing missiles. They're layering weapons, long-range killers, then swarms of cheap expendables designed to saturate defenses. It's a brutal math problem. For every billion-dollar carrier, the other side spends pennies on drones. The US must adapt or risk bleeding resources dry. 6:45 a.m. The last wave closes in. Dozens of sea-skimming drones, the survivors of earlier barrages, dart straight at the Ford's formation. There's no time left for long-range missiles. This is point-blank combat. CIWS mounts thunder, spitting streams of depleted uranium rounds. Tracers carve across the sky, stitching the dawn with lines of fire. One drone erupts in a fireball, another slams into the sea, but more weave through. The ship shudders under violent maneuvers, spray covering the bow as steel grinds against the waves. Inside CIC, every console screams with warnings. Operators juggle dozens of inbound tracks, shifting targets in split seconds. C-RAM batteries launch, trails curling low across the water before detonating against fast-moving shapes. The noise is deafening, the pace relentless. On deck, sailors duck behind cover as gunners keep their barrels hot. One drone explodes so close that shrapnel rains across the flight deck, tearing into parked equipment. Fire crews race forward, foam spraying to smother burning fragments. Yet the deck remains operational. Jets keep launching, climbing into the smoke-stained morning. Bridge teams switch some mounts to local control as sensors glaze with salt. Medics haul two injured sailors below. Both are conscious. EOD sweeps hot fragments off the deck to keep catapults clear. The battle turns chaotic. One drone makes it through, diving hard. A burst of tracers rips it apart barely 50 yards from the hull. The blast knocks sailors off their feet, the shockwave rattling bulkheads, but the carrier survives. Another drone slips into range, destroyed in a flash by a phalanx mount, firing its last belt of ammunition. Minutes stretch into eternity. Then, silence. The sky clears, smoke drifts, the horizon is empty. The Ford still floats, scarred but unbroken. Its escorts circle tight, their magazines nearly dry. Crews exhausted, but the line has held. The climax has shown both sides the truth. Technology, training, and raw willpower can hold back even overwhelming swarms, but only just. And that leaves the question for you. In a fight this close, who really wins? Drop a 1 if you think America's layered defense proves unbeatable, or a 9 if you believe sheer numbers will one day overwhelm it, and hit subscribe so you're here when the aftermath unfolds in Part 7. 7:30 a.m. The smoke thins over the South China Sea. Wreckage drifts across the waves, shattered drones, burned out missile casings, and oil slicks reflecting the first light of day. The USS Gerald R. Ford still floats at the center of its formation, scarred but alive. Its escorts circle close, some with empty launch cells, others with guns still hot to the touch. Sailors stagger from their stations, exhausted, yet knowing they've just fought the hardest battle of their lives. Result: the U.S. shield held. China's much-feared carrier killers failed to land a decisive blow. For Washington, it is proof that layered defenses work under fire. For Beijing, it is a painful reminder that strategy on paper can crumble against training, coordination, and relentless will. Billions of dollars in missiles and aircraft are gone in hours, and with them much of the rocket force's regional punch. But the cost is real. U.S. magazines are nearly drained, crews are stretched thin, and every intercept fired tonight will take months and millions to replace. The battle shows a brutal truth. Defense works, but it's expensive. Offense can be cheap, relentless, and disposable. That equation will shape every clash to come. Allies in Tokyo, Manila, and Canberra watch closely. Confidence in American resolve surges, but so does awareness of the price. NATO even issues a rare statement of support in the Pacific, a sign that this fight echoes far beyond these waters. At the same time, Beijing faces the blow of losing prestige. The carrier killer myth cracked in public view. Tonight, the carrier group held fast. The sea lanes stay open, but the rivalry is sharpened. And that leaves one last question. When the next wave comes double the drones, backed by shore-based missiles, who bends first? Drop a 1 if you believe America can still hold the line, or a 9 if you think Beijing will learn, adapt, and overwhelm. Either way, subscribe now so you don't miss the next episode when the conflict escalates.